As part of efforts to expand digital access and equip young people with the skills to thrive in a technology-driven world, Communications Minister Solly Malatsi launched a Cyberlab at Meyerton High School in the Midvaal today. The school is one of many quintile 1 schools facing the challenge of limited access to digital tools and reliable internet. South Africa's digital divide has posed a significant barrier to educational equity and societal advancement. And for more on this, we're now joined by academic dean at Regent Business School, Dr. Shahiem Patel, and he joins us now via our video link. Dr. Shahiem, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Maybe let's start off here. With what the Communications Minister did today in opening that Cyberlab at Meyerton High School. Maybe let's get your thoughts firstly when it comes to trying to bridge the gap here in terms of the digital divide, especially for, the less fortunate schools. What is your take on this move?
Thanks, Mbali. Yeah, it's an important aspect of our ecosystem in education to be focusing on the digital divide because, we're living in very interesting times where technology just seems to be continually increasing at a rapid rate in terms of its development. We're seeing AI and machine learning and a whole bunch of new technologies just being exploding through our system of education. And so it's an important step, albeit a small one, to try and bridge the gap. But your point about, the sort of vulnerable in our society and how do we get technology into their hands, how do we get quality engagement with that technology into their hands, that is a multifaceted approach. That cannot be just the task of a government or the task of a particular institution. I think it requires an entire ecosystem to come together with various stakeholders playing a meaningful role through the right engagement with the right policy and with the right implementation. Because if we fail to get this right, we're jeopardizing an entire generation, and that simply we can't afford to do.
And Dr. Shahiem, you keep on talking about, things are changing at a rapidly fast pace. And when it comes to, dealing with the digital divide in our country, are we equipped in education to address this issue early?
Yeah, I think we are. I think that, it's very easy to adopt a negative approach in South Africa about many things, and in particular education, because we know that, the unemployment rate is just not being dealt with effectively. Literacy rates are not being manifested in any meaningful way and so forth. So one would understand anybody's skepticism around this issue. But being in the position that we are as an institution, we're seeing the flip side of that coin, and we're seeing meaningful engagement, meaningful practical projects and programs being implemented and rolled out that is actually making a difference. And so, yes, my answer would be that we are, but there's still a long runway to go. It's, we might be doing well, but there's so much more we can and should be doing. And you'll find pockets of excellence in public sector, and then you'll find pockets of excellence in the private sector. But it really needs to go beyond now the pockets of excellence. We need to start seeing that to become a lot more fluid, a lot more engagement and interaction and collaboration, because again, failing which the consequences are so dire that everybody is going to feel the brunt of that failure. Not only today, but like I say, in a generation or two to come.
And of course, you are saying that, we do have the capacity as a country, to allow for schools in our country to have some sort of digital cyber labs. And maybe let's come to this. And when it comes to some of the challenges that we encounter as a country, when it comes to creating these digital schools, how vast is that?
Yeah, so it's digital schools is an interesting idea. It's an interesting thought. I don't think that digital schools in and of themselves are going to be the solution or the silver bullet to the problem. I think it's going to be but one cog in a series of initiatives and a series of engagements that would need to come together, like I say, in this, hopefully in an ecosystem mindset, in a systems thinking mindset, if you like, that will help us to solve the problem. So again, our country doesn't allow for us necessarily, not in the foreseeable future, to dispense with contact teaching, be it at a school level or elsewhere. So that will always be the crux and the main thrust behind our efforts to educate the nation. But the digital divide has to be addressed by infusing digital assets and digital tools and technologies into that physical face-to-face, in-person learning experience, especially at the schooling level, because that now becomes the basis. You know, somebody said something very dramatic the other day. They said that if we don't address the digital divide, it's almost a new form of apartheid. It's a new form of apartheid because people will have and others won't have, and the ones who do have will flourish and be successful, and the ones that don't have will be the ones that are oppressed, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And another way of putting it is that if you don't make sure that you have this digital divide being addressed through the appropriate technologies, it's almost like having a library without books in it. So I think that should really, crystallize exactly the nature of the problem and the magnitude of the challenge ahead of us as education professionals in this country to try and make a meaningful difference.
And maybe just sticking to that, and you are saying that, if it's not addressed, the digital divide in this country becomes this new apartheid. And, what do you make of some young people losing out on various opportunities because of not getting that right access, to the digital space? And I say this because, the applications to universities has now moved, it's transcended, it's now online, and not really everyone has access to the internet.
Yeah, Mbali, the idea of where we locate our technologies and our innovations, I speak a lot about this. Often, it's seen to be technologies get rolled out from an urban area or from a well-to-do area, the big cities rolled out to the sort of remainder of the country that might be rural areas and the like. And I think we need to start flipping that script. We need to start getting technology in the first instance to emanate out of more traditionally seen as marginalized communities and roll those technologies into the urban areas, because the wealthy of this nation will never be left behind because of technology. So if we can find a way of enabling people, the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable in our society, to be the originators and creators of technological solutions, and then rolling those into the urban areas or rolling those into the people that are the so-called haves, in inverted commas, then I think we'll start to see real change. We'll start to see transformation in the way people interact with technology, because now they're the originators of it. They no longer have a fear. So that's one aspect about access to technology is fear. Then we'll already implicitly be dealing the financial aspect to technology. We'll be implicitly dealing the academic or the skills that's needed to engage with technology. And all of that now all of a sudden enables one, irrespective of your background, one is now all of a sudden enabled or afforded the opportunity to access technology-based institutions, online learning opportunities and the like.
All right, Dr. Shahiem, thank you so much for your time and some of that very important insight there. That is Dr. Shahiem Patel. He is Academic Dean at Regent Business School, talking to us there about digital divide.